Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got a brand new partnership one day before Palantir's AIP conference. Palantir tends to do this before they have a conference, start putting out some different press releases. And I was expecting we were going to get a press release today. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but given what happened last AIP, where we got the Jacobs partnership or the extension of the partnership and a further explanation of what stuff they're working on, I thought we would get something. And today we have officially got it. Here we go. Palantir has signed a partnership with Titan defense firm Babcock. I will be saying the word Babcock a lot. Look, if you're immature, then you're going to be laughing throughout the video, like me when I was reading this. If you're not immature, then you will be listening with the utmost intent to try to understand this press release. So let's get into it. Palantir is enabling the Babcock International Group to strengthen its digital defense capabilities through an enterprise agreement announced at DSEI today. I believe that's a defense conference there in London today. The partnership will leverage Palantir AIP, the AI-enabled instance of the company software that will aim to transform how the Babcock workforce captures, integrates models, and builds data-driven solutions. Unlocking the power of data in this way will enable Babcock to make better informed data-driven decisions, maximize platform availability on customer assets, and understand how to derive even more value from the organization's data. So Babcock is a defense company, and from my understanding, they make a lot of hardware types of products. So you can see on their website, Babcock plays a critical role in international defense. In a world of significant geopolitical instability, national security has never been more important as defense requirements become increasingly complex to deliver. Ensuring those critical services are readily available, affordable, and long-lasting is a vital task. I believe they make everything from helicopters to guns and tanks and all that type of stuff. Their share price is $380. I believe this is on the German exchange. I don't think they're publicly traded on the American exchange, but I'll check on that. So they are a public company, very big company, and this is not, a simple little stock. In fact, let's check their revenue real quick. Babcock Defense revenue. Let's just see on a quick view what the revenue is. UK 4.4 billion pounds, up 8% in 2022. Okay, so 4.4 billion pounds, that's a pretty decent amount of money, about 5.3 billion bucks. Not bad. That's a decent amount of money. And by the way, that's generative AI search from Google, which is killing it in terms of how I'm using it. So the ChatGPT folks that thought it was going to kill Google, it doesn't seem to be killing Google yet. So $5.3 billion company, obviously a lot, or $5.3 billion in revenue, probably valued a lot higher than that. That is a pretty big company that is using Palantir. Guy Williams, the head of defense and national security from Palantir Technology, said, "We're excited to partner with Babcock as they realize their digital defense ambitions. Today, we are driving forward a new era of the UK defense enterprise, one that is pioneering, modern, and leverages Palantir AIP." So these guys are headquartered in the UK. So they're probably on the UK stock exchange, not the Germany stock exchange. That makes sense. Our partnership with Babcock will help ensure the MOD maximize operational output at pace, whilst empowering Babcock's talented workforce to become truly digitally enabled. The agreement will consolidate data streams into one place, whether that's on supply chain or asset management, with tool sets or analytics. It will support all areas of Babcock's global defense business across submarines, warships, army equipment, right through to supply chains to give a clearer view of their sustainability and carbon footprint. The platforms will also allow Babcock to coordinate more closely with their customers and improve how they better understand and utilize data, enabling them to be present in key parts of their customers' critical defense missions. Already, we're seeing in a couple paragraphs that AIP, combined with whatever other software Palantir is giving, potentially Foundry, is integrating a lot of different elements for a company like Babcock. So an international defense company, you can imagine the massive amounts of data these guys have, and they're trying to unlock value from that data. So whether it's supply chains, asset management, analytics for their tool sets, even understanding their sustainability and carbon footprint. This is what I talked about in the Trafigura partnership a week ago. I said the world is getting to a place where you will not be able to be a company, especially not a company at the stature of Babcock, that doesn't have a understanding of your carbon footprint, because investors, customers, everyone's going to ask that you have these things figured out. And so that means you're going to have to solve big data problems. In Palantir, at the end of the day, if they're selling you software for this, and this, maybe they can sell you software that also does this, because they're a modern operating system for every part of your organization. So it makes sense they're using Palantir for that. Babcock CEO Tom Newman said, "As the defense landscape becomes increasingly digital in nature, our data challenges are also growing in complexity and volume. Given the complex defense supply chains we operate in, having a true data picture of what ecosystem is vital in allowing us to make better strategic decisions and aligns us to our customer digital defense backbone is important. Across multi-domain operating environments and within the often intricate defense supply chain, the partnership will deliver a data picture that will act as a single source of truth," that's your ontology, "across the ecosystem. helping employees make better strategic decisions and align teams to the MOD's digital defense backbone. Employees will also be able to leverage cutting-edge AI and large language models, that's her AIP part, that can present a range of actions to evaluate and execute accordingly. So they're definitely selling them Foundry, given they're talking about this single source of truth. That's the ontology. That is the amalgamation of all your data in one place. And the AIP is what allows you to leverage things like LLMs. And remember, the LLMs are completely useless unless you have an ontology of your data. Like an LLM is only valuable as it understands the relationship that objects have within data. So spreadsheets can be put into an LLM, but spreadsheets that can actually speak to each other, the rows, the columns actually understand what they're talking about. That's what makes the LLM more valuable, and that's exactly what AIP does for companies. For example, within the defense support group, Palantir is helping Babcock deliver a smart data approach with deep engineering expertise to improve fleet availability and real-time identification of issues throughout the lifecycle of military equipment, including ships and armored vehicles. Using the right technology and harnessing it for the greatest impact will support Babcock as they provide optimal performance and mitigate risks for the British Army, realizing value for defense across equipment support. And then they talk about a couple other things: equipment support and maintenance, training contracts, shipbuilding, all of these different things Palantir is going to be able to help them with in terms of the partnership. This is the first partnership Palantir signed with a firm in the UK's defense industrial base. Palantir has worked in the UK MOD which is Ministry of Defense, for over a decade and continues to support Western liberal democracy, including through collaboration with other Western militaries, allies, and defense providers. Okay. Couple of points analysis that I have on this deal. First of all, this is a very, very exciting deal that we're getting right before AIP. These guys might be at the AIP conference, probably not on the main stage, but maybe in one of the workout sessions as they're talking about how they're using AIP for defense in particular. This is governmental revenue that's going into Palantir, and they're obviously selling them AIP for defense, which is a product they introduced a couple months ago, and we saw the demo videos, and Elon Musk responded to on Twitter, so it was a pretty big deal. So that's something we likely might see at AIP. Now, a couple things that are really interesting about this. Number one, this is in the good old UK. And if you're a Palantir investor, you know that we have a very unique relationship to the UK. And that relationship stems from, hopefully in 2 weeks, we get this massive NHS contract from the United Kingdom. I have constantly been saying this NH contract, it could be $2, it could be $200 million. It doesn't matter the money. What matters is a company of Palantir stature, this $30 billion company that you're investing in potentially, has the ability and the capabilities to manage 70 million people's healthcare. That is just, it is insane to even think that is happening. It's an opportunity of lifetime to even be part of that company's journey. So the fact that that's happening in the UK, it shows the presence Palantir has in the UK. On top of that, our AI headquarters, officially for Palantir, in July, was named as the United Kingdom. And, you know, whether that's just showboating or whatever, the point is Palantir wants to make the UK a really strong regional area for them to be able to close deals like this. I mean, I see their business, acquire, land, expand, their whole strategy of like, how do we integrate ourselves into our customers to increase the net dollar retention and increase their revenue. It's the same thing to me with countries. I mean, what they've done in the UK when the pandemic happened, that's when the UK government really called on Palantir to be like, hey, can you do this vaccine distribution? They came in, did a phenomenal job. They got everything done. They landed another contract extension. And then after, a couple of months, everyone starts realizing, hey, can you fix the NHS? And they start doing these pilots. And now they might potentially get this deal. So that ability for them to acquire the United Kingdom kind of as a country, because the world was deglobalized and unstable because we had a global pandemic, which is kind of the whole thesis for how Palantir becomes valuable, is like when shit goes bad, they are there to solve those problems, which is, I think, a unique moat. Then they were able to then further sell them on all these different ideas they had, because at the end of the day, if you could use us here, maybe you could use us here, and they can integrate themselves with the government. So that's the first thing about the UK. The second thing is they had a partnership or a deal for $91 million with the MOD, the UK Ministry of Defense, back in December of 2022. This contract to me only happens because Palantir is able to work with the UK in terms of the Ministry of Defense. So this is a public company, Babcock International, right? So, but Babcock works with a ton of governmental clients, and they make a ton of products for governments. So there's going to be a part of this that is commercial revenue for Palantir in terms of Babcock is a commercial company. But I believe the reason this could also stem into governmental revenue is because all of the clients Babcock works with, especially the Ministry of Defense, which Palantir has a relationship with already, is going to just translate into Palantir ultimately working with them. Remember, Palantir is a partner with the company. They're not just going to, hey, take the software and move on. They're actually building custom solutions, which is an upfront cost, which is, I don't know how many millions of dollars, but it is an investment up front. It pays off in the back end, and you get so much R&D basically for free to be able to use when you get to the next company, because you're working in that space. So if Palantir is like, okay, hey, Babcock, we're going to give you all this stuff. We're going to work with you. We're going to create custom solutions. They're not just working with the employees at Babcock. They're working with the clients that Babcock has, which is explicitly, as per the press release, the Ministry of Defense. So Palantir is deepening their intimate relationships, not only with a company that, and by the way, when you have these relationships, that company is going to likely use you for the next 5-10 years because you actually built a custom solution with them that they wanted as well. This is what we see with Cleveland Health, with Tampa Bay General Hospital. Like, this is how we're seeing in terms of the case studies play out for Palantir customers. So they work with them, and then on top of that, they're working with the Ministry of Defense clients or the Ministry of Defense employees, because all three of them in tandem are coming up with software solutions that are going to allow them to be valuable on the battlefield, mission critical situations, etc. So number one, Palantir is in the UK, and they're gripping their ties within all different governmental agencies of the UK. Number two, their ability to land the Ministry of Defense contract back in December of 2022, which was, I think, a byproduct of them getting the NHS or them working with the NHS all of 2020, is what's leading them to get these commercial partnerships in the UK that are rooted in defense. So them getting into the country, showing what they can do for the government, really being exceptional and the only company that can get the job done, then is getting to work with the highest level commercial clients that are also in the country, because those commercial clients need a lot of the same services that they're providing to the government. And then the third part is that while working with the commercial clients in the government space, and those commercial clients happen to be defense companies that work with the government, Palantir is deepening their ties with the government because they're partnering with companies that have massive exposure to the UK government. To me, it's partnerships like these and stories like these that ultimately end up playing out to showcase what the network effect is for Palantir. And look, I can't blame people for saying they don't get it or they don't understand it, because what I just said in terms of the 1, 2, 3, it's after 2 years of really intimately studying Palantir. If I was a first-time investor looking at this press release, I wouldn't even think about that, right? But that matters. Like, understanding the history of how they got to the UK, how they integrated with the governmental clients, and how they're getting these commercial clients as a result of integrating with the governmental clients, and the commercial clients have integration with the government's clients. So Palantir's furthering their ties with the government clients as a result of that. What does that lead to from a business perspective? What's the TLDR? More government contracts, more commercial contracts, more brand awareness in a part of the world that has a lot of money and is being run by a techno-optimist, i.e. Rishi Sunak, who wants to make AI and technology and digital transformations the cornerstone of his legacy as the Prime Minister of the UK. That is what that means for Palantir. It means ka-ching, hopefully, in the future, because of the network effects Palantir is creating by being able to do this. And so when they go to the next defense firm and the next government agency, or the next country where there's a ton of Babcocks that exist that are also working with a ton of different Ministry of Defenses in different countries, they can take the exact same playbook they took from 2020 to 2023 and apply it to whatever country they're going to in terms of governmental sectors and commercial sectors. So look, to me, this makes a lot of sense. This is a great partnership before AIPCon. I'll have another video coming out a little bit later today talking about my expectations for AIPCon, but this is an exciting partnership. There's more that meets the eye to this. And if you read the partnership again, what they're doing is high-level stuff. They're not playing around here, right? Like, the stuff they're trying to do for the British Army and for as they say, the technology will support Babcock as they provide optimal performance and mitigate risks for the British Army. Babcock is having a unique impact on the British Army. And if they're saying, hey, Palantir, can your software help us accelerate, streamline, and operationalize our ability to do things like mitigate that risk, that means Palantir is playing an incredible role in helping Babcock actually enable to use technology in a way that helps, that just creates better data-driven decisions. It's something that it's not as easy to do with typical business intelligence software, because Tableau might not cut it for something like a Babcock that's really trying to do something that's fundamentally different than what a lot of people are doing. And then I think AIP and LLMs, that's the cherry on top. Let's see how, they're able to use AIP. If they really find it valuable, what is it worth? Palantir's probably not making any money off this deal in the context of AIP. They're probably selling Foundry. They're giving AIP for free. Is it worth $5 million a year? Well, the company does $5 billion in revenue. I mean, is it worth $5 million? Who knows? Is it worth $10 million? Is it worth $20 million? What is AIP worth? This is what we're going to see over the next couple of months as we get to determine where Palantir has a trajectory for AIP and what they're going to do with it. That's it for me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you got it so far into the video at the end, please leave a comment that is the word Bangkok. Do you want to go to Bangkok? Let me know in the description. I really look forward to the comments. I'll see you in the next one.